Ejiro Sharon Okotie is a passionate gender equality and social inclusion expert with over 12 years of experience in advancing gender justice, disability rights, and feminist programming across global developmental spaces. Please welcome with me, Ejiro Sharon Okotie. Thank you for coming, Ejiro. And like I said, you're an inspiration to all of us. In your opinion, have we made any progress in closing the gap and reducing the exclusion and inequality faced by persons with disabilities?
It's a great pleasure to be here. I would say yes. Disability rights are also human rights, so they're not different from, what we have in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And for us as a people in Nigeria, we're probably not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. There's a lot of improvement and awareness around disability inclusion, and a lot of organizations, just like what S.M.I.L.E also does, is beginning to focus more on disability inclusion. Now, for me as a person with disability, I am not only passionate about disability inclusion because I'm a person with disability, but on the other hand, I am a gender specialist, an social inclusion specialist, and that entails that everybody in society, regardless of who you are, whether you have a disability or not, everyone has something that they can meaningfully contribute. And I see it as my responsibility to be able to create that space, to be able to, provide that stage for every voice to be heard. So in the work that I do as an organization, I would really say, yes, we are contributing to that narrative. One of the things you heard about was disability inclusion framework, because generally a lot of work that people do are at the federal level, at the state level. Nobody really focuses at the local government level, which is where a lot of people live, at the grassroots. Those people are probably not, so close to the center where they can make contributions, where they can have access and all of that. And for us, even when it comes to people with disabilities as well, you have a majority of the population at the grassroots level. So imagine that somebody lives in a particular community in Ikorodu, and the government is doing something, and they have to pay transport all the way to Alausa to be able to benefit from it. It doesn't, help in any way to make that program, as far-reaching as it should be. And that's one of the reasons why, for us, as much as possible, focus on those how-to-reach areas and ensure that people with disabilities in those spaces are also able to benefit in whatever programs, in governance processes, So as an organization, I would really say, yes, we are contributing the much that we can to that narrative, and doing it innovatively as well.
Thank you, Ejiro. Just following from that, I'm curious as to what are the biggest challenges that PWDs face in Nigeria? Is it accessing education, employment, or healthcare?
So the biggest, you just said it, the biggest challenge is access. There's a lot that happens, but people do not have access. So if you take, for example, I'm a blind person. I come for an activity, and everybody has to, and you hand me a printed document. That's always what I like to use. I've been invited, quite all right, but am I able to really participate? Maybe not, because you've given me, a tool that is not accessible to me. So even if I have things to contribute, if you have handed me a notepad and paper and all that is to be discussed is in a printed document, I cannot participate, not because I do not have what to participate. The tools that have been provided are not accessible to me. So I think that one of the biggest challenges that people with disabilities face in Nigeria is access. Access to services, access to governance, to be able to even make your contribution. That's access. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we have as a people. And I think the other thing as well is around attitude. How do people perceive? How do people react when it comes to issues of people with disabilities? Is it just tokenism, whereby let's just bring them in, or do we really want them to participate? Do we really want them to contribute? Because when you were talking, so, if they have questions to ask, some people can invite them to this hall and just say, and they are here. We did a program, we included people with disabilities, which is what I call surface inclusion. But if we really want to practice inclusion in the real sense, it's also ensuring that tools that are available are accessible, and they are also able to, you create that environment for them to be able to equally, meaningfully participate and not just participate.
Thank you very much. That's very well said. Very well said. And what she said really struck me. Access is what they require. And the truth here now is that a lot of persons with disabilities are doing great things. I remember I went to the prestigious King's College. At that young age, I was maybe 13, 14, 15. Cobams led that club. And we were inspired, even at that young age, by his depth, he's multifaceted, So what she said, access, he has access, and today we can see the success story he is. So like she has advocated, if PWDs have access to all of these things and not surface, tokenism. I have a question from Esther, and the question is directed to Ejiro. My question will trace me back to my younger sister of blessed memory. She didn't talk and walk because she couldn't. And she could not enjoy access and all these benefits. How to reach to foundations that tackle issues of disabilities and train them to enjoy what others enjoy beyond the localities they found themselves. How do we make them belong beyond their disabilities?
Just to rephrase.
There's persons with disabilities.
How do we create more access for persons with disabilities by also engaging organizations that do work for either people with disabilities or organizations that do work for people in general? One of the key things is awareness. So every single person seated in this hall has a responsibility. Inclusion is every single person's responsibility. It's not the responsibility of Ejiro alone. It's not the responsibility of Ejiro's organization alone. It's each and every one of us responsibility. I cast my mind back to during COVID. When there was COVID, they started doing social distancing and things like that. And at that time, I was in the UK. And they did like a, if you're standing on the road, you will see like footprints, right? So maybe between one print, they will now put space and put the next print. If you go to a store, they'll put it like dots. So that's to indicate that this is where you are to stand, and the next person is to stand. And I don't know what we're talking about, my friend and I, and she said, Ejiro, put your feet here. And I'm like, really? So people can do this kind of thing. What about somebody like me that does not know? I walk past this place and not even realize that there's something like a print here. I said, this is a good innovation, but probably that person that designed it wasn't thinking about, what about those people that cannot see? And it's not even about having total blindness. There are people that can see and do not really see clearly. Like my friend that was driving me here, she was saying, Ejiro, I think that they should put markers on speed bumps. That because when I drive, I don't see them. Are we together?
Yeah.
So that's to tell you that you may even still have vision and not be able to see so clearly. Some people are seated in this hall, they are at the back and they may not really be able to see clearly in front. So I said, is it possible for people to design, strategies or come up with innovations that speaks to the needs of at least almost everybody in society? And the only way we can do that is when every one of us think inclusion. For this our generation, for young people now, many of us are content creators. We are doing YouTube, we are doing Instagram videos. When you post your videos online, ask yourself, would every single person out there be able to consume the content I have put out without any challenges? Are we together? Yeah. So inclusion is everybody's responsibility. People build their houses and they put step everywhere. And I ask myself, when you grow old, you will become a problem inside your own house that you built with your money. Can you just build flat floors? Are we together? So you see that in everything that you do, as you sit there, always think inclusion and think access. There's a TEDx presentation that I did, is on YouTube. If you type my name and you put think access, think inclusion, you will see that video. So I encourage everyone to go and listen to it, because it really teaches us on how each and every one of us can contribute in creating a world that accommodates everyone. So the first thing is what? Inclusion is everybody's responsibility. Then, what are you going to do with the information that you got out of here today? Like we said, disability rights are also human rights. So how do you put a word out there to say, as you design your programs, make sure that you also capture people with disabilities? Whether you are a the founder of an organization, the leader of a company or a non-profit, or in the private sector or in the public sector, how are you intentionally designing your workspace, your environment, to also include people with disabilities? Look out for them. We have many of them that are out there that are qualified. Can you reach out and ensure that in your workspace, in your program design, in your interventions, whatever it is that you are doing, you are also able to focus on people with disabilities? So I think that it's for every one of us to continue to speak the word out there, to continue to, remind people that there are different people in society. We are all unique, differently unique, and we must embrace our difference.
Thank you very much. We'll be taking live questions.
This is not really a question. It's more like a charge, to say that I'm a mom of two, and I notice when my children were younger, when I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see people with disabilities, my children, they have this funny look and all of that. And I had to take it upon myself to start educating them, like, no, they are not different. It's just this and that. Accept them. When you see them, don't look at them in a funny way. Talk to them, ask them questions. So I think the issue or the problem can be solved from the grassroots. Yes, so she talked about accessibility and inclusivity, or being inclusive, including people with disabilities. And the fact that most of the things we have, the buildings and all of that, people don't have in mind disabled persons. So I think that when we invade the nursery, secondary schools, and then start changing that orientation and telling them, whatever you do, think of these people. It helps in the future. So when they have that orientation, the young ones, and they're the futures, they're the future leaders. When they start trying to build something, they already have that orientation. If you can go to the secondary, the nursery schools, and start from there, it will make a difference, maybe not now, but in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we have a few questions directed to Ejiro, but in closing, my name is Aisha. My question goes to Ms. Ejiro. How do you find the drive to keep going as someone who is interested in making impact, as somebody who is interested in solving issues? Remember that this panel was showcasing innovators and solutions to accelerate the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And so, Ejiro, the final question, please,
Okay.
your conclusion.
Thank you. So the question is, how do I find the drive to keep going?
Yeah.
And I think three things come to mind. One is, what is that thing that you've been called to do? Understanding your purpose, right? Why are you here? I think that's the first thing. Once you understand what that is, what is the need you have identified in the world? What's that challenge that you think that you have the capacity or you have the talent or the potential to change, right? Identifying that need, because in the middle of every challenge is an opportunity. So what is that need that you have identified, and what are the resources that are around you, right? There's a principle that drives me. Every day I wake up and say, how can I be a better version of me? And that's the one sentence that drives me every day. How can I be a better version of me? And I link it to my why, right? Why I am here. I've been called to inspire others to succeed. That is my purpose. So how can I be a better version of me to inspire people, to continue to inspire people to succeed? That is what drives me. So you need to first of all identify what your purpose is, and then understand what is that need that you've been called to address. And every day you wake up knowing that you have to meet that need. You have to, find the resources that you require to help you meet that need. And lastly, is not doing it by yourself. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So there's always somebody out there that either thinking about what you are doing or is doing what you want to do. Look for those people, partner with them, collaborate with them, interact with them. Like we said, social media, the world is it's very small. With your phone, you can access so much. So what are you doing with the resources that are available? You don't need too much. What you need is to get the right information, surround yourself with the right people, and of course, putting your purpose in front of you and that need that you've been called to address. Those are the things that will keep you keep you driven towards whatever it is that you've been called to do. I hope that's been helpful.
Thank you very much.